Good morning, everybody. Warm greetings from Team Exogenesis Technology. Hope all of you have been safe. We at Exogenesis Technology are helping the student community by making all our workshop as a free webinars. So today we will be learning how to design a PCB using Autodesk Eagle. I am Rachna. I will be handling your session today. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive in. Okay. PCB designing and manufacturing plays an important role in electronic industry. It is almost used in all electronic and electrical appliances. So it is important to learn this PCB designing skill. So what is PCB actually? What does it stand for? PCB stands for printed circuit board. It is a tiny board which your conductive pathways are printed onto the board, which connects different components like transistors, resistors, and your integrated circuits. They are actually made from insulating materials with metal coated surface. So first we'll see how they are actually manufactured. As I told, it is nothing but a tiny board where all your electronic components are placed and electrical connections is made between them. So it is the board here is nothing but an insulating material called fiberglass. The insulating material used here is fiberglass. So slices of such fiberglass are stacked together and they are treated with a resin to make them stick together. This entire thing makes one solid slab. Okay, then this entire slab is treated with a layer of copper on both the sides. Then it is coated with a chemical called photoresist. Then this entire thing is exposed to UV light. Then what happens is the board washes away, leaving the traces of copper wire. So the copper pathways are made on the surface of an insulating material for your electricity to flow among various components which are mounted onto the surface. So what happens is your insulating board is used, that is fiberglass. On that you place a layer of copper. That is treated with a photoresist chemical, and it is exposed to UV light in such a way that the unwanted copper layer is washed away. Only your copper pathways where current should flow is kept, which allows the electricity to flow among various components which are mounted onto the surface. So this is how it's manufactured, and this copper are coated with a layer of thin lead to prevent oxidation. Okay. Next, we'll see why do we need to learn this PCB designing and why we should use PCB boards. You can think that whatever PCB does, even same work can be done using breadboard. Even you need not learn any specific skill of designing a PCB when you're working with a breadboard. You can just place all your components on the breadboard and make electrical connection among them. So it is more easier when compared to PCB designing, where you have to first design your PCB and convert it into a board file and then get it manufactured. So what is the reason why we should go for PCB boards? First, the main reason is loose connections. There are a lot of chances of your wire coming out from your breadboard, or suppose if you're working on some circuit which involves using of an amplifier or any integrated circuits, there will be a lot of chance of generating unnecessary noise at the output because of loose connections. Such things are very common when you are using breadboard. But that can be avoided in PCB because there is no wires in PCB. So this eliminates any possibility of loose connections. And one more other reason why we should use PCB, suppose if you're working on some prototype and you want to get it manufactured, that time you can't say that I'll use just breadboard to make my electrical circuit, because it one first thing it makes the size of the prototype very big. And one more other thing is, suppose if your prototype involves very complex circuits, debugging them becomes very difficult if you're using a prototype, and it does not looks very clean or neat, and it does not look professional if you're using a breadboard. Whereas if you're using a PCB, the size of your prototype can be reduced, because here size can be adjusted based on the number of components and the complexity of your circuit. This is the first reason. And second is, so it looks very professional, and however complex your circuit is, it is easy to debug if there is any fault. So these are the few reasons why you should learn PCB designing, and start using PCBs instead of normal breadboards. Okay, this is the process flow of your designing. The first step is schematic. Your actual designing starts from schematic. Schematic is nothing but placing all your electronic components and making electrical connection between them. Then your schematic is converted into a board file. Board file is nothing but your PCB layout, where you place all your components and route them. Next is fabrication. Fabrication is nothing but layers of board are put together along with specific patterns, so that it can be used for your electronic assembly. That is, it is nothing but transferring your board design into physical structure. Okay. After fabrication, it is assembly, where all the components are assembled and final board is designed. First two steps, that is schematic and PCB layout, are designing part, and PCB fabrication and assembly is the manufacturing part. So today we will be only designing the PCB, so we will be going through schematic and PCB layout. Okay. So I'll just show how the Eagle software looks, what is Eagle software, and what all it contains. So first main thing, it involves two steps for designing. That is designing the schematic and making your board. Schematic can be done with the help of CAD tools. There are many CAD tools available for designing, like Altium Designer, KiCad, and Autodesk Eagle. So basically, Eagle software is nothing but an electronic design automation software, that is EDA software, which helps designer to place components and to make a connection and to route the PCBs. Okay, so this is just a basic explanation about the Eagle. I'll just walk you through the various options which are available. You can see, I now I request everyone to open your Eagle software, so that you can simultaneously just check what all options you have. I request you all to ping me in the chat column once your software is open. Are you all ready with your software? Okay, I'll just explain what all options we have, uh, and I'll just explain in brief why do we require and how do we use them. First thing, you can see various options here: file, view, options, window, help. First, we'll go through the things which we have in files. When you click on files, click on new, and you have various options like project, schematic, board, cam job, ULP, script, and all. We'll go through this one by one. First is your project option. It is used to create new files. It contains all the files like schematic files, board files, special library files, and your script files also. Then next is schematic. In this file, we add electronic components and make electrical connection between them. The actual project starts from here. Okay. Next is board. In this file, we transfer the schematic to PCB board to arrange and route all the components. And then next is library. Suppose if you want to create a new part in Eagle, and suppose if you're designing any circuit which requires new specific components which is not available in the library provided by the Eagle, you can design your own library and use it in your circuit. Then next is CAM job. CAM stands for computer aided manufacturing. It is used to generate output data for manufacturing tools. That is, it can be used for exporting your Gerber files. Then next is ULP. ULP in Eagle contains your compiler based on C user language. It can be used to access any Eagle files, and it can also be used to generate a bill of materials. Okay. Then next is script. User can execute the commands which are stored in the script files. It provides the ability to customize the program according to your wish. Okay. Text is used to attach any text notice along with the designer. Suppose you have designed any circuit and you're giving that design file to manufacturer to um, hello, can you hear me? Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah, text is used to attach any particular files with your design files. Suppose if you have designed any circuit and you want to get it manufactured, and but you want to tell the manufacturer that there are certain things which he has to take care about. In that case, you can attach those messages in this text file, uh, then send it to your manufacturer. Okay. Mm, then next is options. In options, there are various options like directories. In directories, the default directories for a particular Eagle files is entered into this directory blocks. Suppose your all your script files will be stored in this directory, and all your projects cam job will be stored in these particular directories. They are the default directories, so just keep them as it is. Do not change anything in this. Then next we have backup and locking. When files are saved, Eagle creates backup copies for previous files. So maximum backup level option allows you to create maximum backup copies, and the default backup copies are 9. you can change however you want. Next is autosave internal option. It can be changed between 1 to 60 minutes, but by default it is set to 5 minutes. You can keep them as it is, no need to change anything. Then next we have is user interface. From here, um, uh, the editor windows for layers, for schematic diagram, and for library can be adjusted to your preference. Suppose, for example, the layout by default, the background of the layout is black and cursor is small. If you want, you can change however you as per your requirements. And your schematic file has a background with white and cursor is small. These are the default which they are set. If you want, you can change them or leave it as it is. Okay. Now let's see what all things we have on the tree menu. This part is called tree menu. You can see the first option called library. A library in Eagle contains all your components which can be used in your designing purpose and for your board designing as well. If you click on your libraries, you will see various options. These are all your libraries which are present in Eagle. And you can also see a green color dot in front of a library, which indicates that the particular library is active. Suppose if you click on that, you can see it changes to gray color small dot, which indicates that it is inactive and you cannot use it in any of your designing. So make sure all your libraries are with a green dot, that is they are active, so that you can use them whenever required. Okay. Then next I have explained all this. Next is project. Project contains all your files, um, all your schematic, your library, special library files, and your board files. So I request each one of you to concentrate now. I'll just explain how to create your first project. Click on option called project. There is option called new project. Click on that. I'll repeat again. Click on project, choose new project, and give a particular name. Then give name and click enter. I hope everyone could do till here. Click on project, select new project, provide a particular name according to your wish. Then after that you can see a green color dot in front of it. It says that your project is active. Okay. Then select your project, click on that and choose new. You have various options like schematic, board, library. First we will be designing schematic, so click on schematic. A new separate window will pop up, that is your schematic file. I'll just repeat again. On the project which you have created, click on that, select new and click schematic. This particular new window will pop up. After this, just save the file. You can see the path of this schematic file is stored in project and amplifier. Amplifier is the name of the project which I have given. So this particular file will be stored in the project which you have created. Okay, give any particular name and click on. I hope everyone are with me. If anyone is stuck somewhere, please ping in the chat window. Okay, I hope everyone have completed till here. I'll just start with the designing of schematic. Before that, I'll just explain the circuit which we are designing today. Today we will be designing the Okay, I'll just repeat the last step. Okay, see, this is your control panel. You have created your project, whatever name I have given here, amplifier. Whatever name you have created, click on that, right click on that, select new option. In new, there are various options. Click on the first option, that is schematic. As soon as you click on that option, a separate window will appear. That is your schematic file. That looks something like this. I hope I'm clear. Okay. Okay. The circuit which we are designing today is an audio amplifier using LM386. So before designing the circuit, I will just explain what is LM386 and some of the features about it. So okay, LM385 386 is a low voltage audio amplifier, and it is used in various components and devices like radios, music player, and toys. So this is the data sheet of LM386 audio amplifier. So one request from each one of you is that whenever you are designing any particular circuit, go through the data sheet of that particular component which you are using in the circuit. It will help you through to go through various features, applications, and some of the descriptions. And it also contains various circuits in which it is used. Here, this is the pin diagram of the audio amplifier, that is LM386. I will just explain the pin diagram in detail in some time. The pin 1 is the gain, pin 8 is also a gain pin, 2 and 3 are the input pins, 4 is ground, then 7 is bypass pin, 6 is VCC, that is your supply, and 5 is V out. Then if you scroll down, you have various circuits which are already available in this data sheet. You can just refer to those data sheet, understand what all circuits you can design using this. Okay, see here you can see a simple circuit diagram using LM386 with a gain of 20. The internal gain of LM386 is set to 20. So if you design a circuit somewhat like this, it will give you an output with a gain of 20. But suppose if you want gain more than 20, you're working on a project which requires a gain more than 20, then what you should do? Obviously, you need to connect some more components here, so that you get an output with a gain of 20. That has also been provided in this data sheet only. So make sure you go through the data sheet in depth. See here, this circuit gives a gain of 200. To provide a gain of 200, you have to design a circuit somewhat like this. Today, the circuit which we are designing is with a gain of 50. Okay, this one. So I will be referring to this circuit to design the audio amplifier. Okay. Before designing, I will just explain about all the components used here and why we have used them. First one is your pin 1 and pin 8. Pin 1 and 8 are the gain control pins. Internally, the gain is set to 20, but you can increase it up to 200 by using some combination of your capacitor, resistors, and all. Then next is pin 2 and 3. These are the input pins. Pin 2 is the negative input terminal and it is grounded. Then pin 3 is the positive input terminal. In this case, the sound signal which you are providing to your amplifier is sent to this pin through 10K port. Okay. Um, we have connected this 10K port to adjust the input signals. Okay. Then next is pin 4 and pin 6. These are the power supply pins. Pin 6 is positive VCC and pin 4 is grounded. Okay. Then pin 5 is the output pin. The output signal has both AC and DC component, and DC component is undesirable and it cannot be fed to the speakers. So you should remove those DC components. To remove such unwanted DC component, we use a capacitor of 250 microfarad here at the output side. Along with this capacitor, we have also connected a uh, filter circuit consisting of a resistor and a capacitor. This is connected to remove the sudden change in like high frequency change or any kind of noise in the output can be removed through this filter circuit. Then pin 7, it is a bypass terminal. It can be either left open or it can be grounded through a capacitor. If you connect a capacitor, it just provides the stability. So we generally use a capacitor here and then ground it. Okay. So this is just a basic explanation about the circuit diagram which we are designing today. Let us start designing this circuit. First, I will just explain how to add these components in your schematic. So make sure you concentrate at this point of time. I will be slow so that you can do simultaneously with me. First, to add all these components which we saw just now, you need to select an option called Add Part on the left side of your schematic file. This is the option. When you place the cursor on that option, it says Add Part. Click on that. Once you click on Add Part, a separate window will appear which looks something like this, and it has various components which are available on the Eagle. Okay. The first component which we are adding is obviously audio amplifier. So you have to search for the audio amplifier. Just type LM386 and press enter. After that, it will show various options available for you to select. Okay. In this, you have to choose LM386 DIL08, that is the third option. I will just repeat again, don't worry. After selecting the option, click on OK. Then place it on your schematic window. Then to add another component, press escape. Again, that add part window will appear. I will just repeat again how to add your audio amplifier. In the search window, in the search bar, just below the add part file, type LM386 and click enter. It will show various options available for you. You have to choose the third option, that is LM386 DIL08. Once you select on that, click on OK and just tap the component on the screen. After this, to add another component, again press escape. You need a couple of resistors and capacitors. So first we'll add some resistors. So just in search window, just type resistor. Click enter. See, there are so many resistors available for you to use. You need to choose the resistor which you require in your circuit. Okay, for that we will be using RLC. Under here is I'll be a little slow, just try to do it with me. You can see an option called RLC here. Under this, if you click on REU, it shows various resistors available under this category. Now you have to choose resistor with REU 0204/7 option, that is the third option available for you. Select that and click on OK. I'll just repeat this again. I'll just show you how to add the resistor again. Just type resistor here in the search window. Under RLC option, select REU. Under that, click on the third option. Here 0204 tells us the package size of the resistor, that is 2 mm cross 4 mm. Okay, select this third option and click on OK. You need two resistors in the circuit, so just tap it twice. I've selected two resistors, that is R1 here and R2 here. Just tap it twice. After that, you need a couple of capacitors. First, I want to know if everyone are with me. Are you able to do it till here? Just ping me. Okay, after adding audio amplifier and resistor, you need a couple of capacitors also. So just under the search option, type capacitor. Click enter. After typing the capacitor, click enter. Again, you have various options for capacitors here. Uh, One thing you need to know here is in this circuit diagram, you can see the output capacitor is with the symbol, that is, it's with the polarity plus sign. So whichever capacitor here you use, it should be with the polarity. Okay, so we will choose the capacitor with the polarity here. For that, just search for RCL. Scroll down, you will see an option called RCL. Under that, click on CPOLEU. CPOLEU stands for the capacitor with the polarity. So if you are using any capacitor with the polarity, you have to choose the capacitor under this option. Under CPOLEU, you have to choose the one with, just scroll down and select option. ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಪರಿಚಯ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ನಮಗೂ ಪರಿಚಯ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಂತವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಅವ್ರು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಂತವ್ರ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಬಾಯ್ಬಿಸ್ಬೋದು. Okay, under this option, select E358. Scroll down, you will see an option called E358. That is the name of the package. E3,58 is the name of the package. Select that and click on OK. I will just repeat this step. Just type capacitor, click on enter, and scroll down. You will see an option called RCL. Under RCL, select an option CPOLEU. CPOL stands for capacitor with the polarity. Under CPOLEU, scroll down, you can see an option called E3,58. Select on that and click OK. And place it on your schematic file. That is, just tap it. Okay, after this we need couple of resistors, couple of capacitors for your filter circuit and to connect it to your gain pin of the amplifiers. Okay, just search for capacitors. Under capacitors, you have to choose ceramic capacitors now. Ceramic capacitors comes without polarity, okay, and with a value less than 1 microfarad. So it can be used for your both bypass capacitor and for the one which is connected at your gain terminal. Okay. For this, under RCL, scroll down, select an option RCL. Under this, click on ECU. Under this ECU, you see an option called C025 cross 05. That is the second option. The package name is C025 dash 025 X050. That is the second option available. Under, I'll repeat again, under RCL, select CEU. Under that, choose the second option and click on OK. you need two of this, so tap two times so that it will be used twice. I hope everyone could do till here. Now after this you need one more capacitor. Mm, so here under same option, under same RLC, under CEU, you will see an option called CEU 0075 and 032X 103. Select on that and click OK. I'll just repeat again. Under option RCL, under CEU, search for an option called C075032X103. Select that and click OK. Just tap it on your screen. After this, you need a couple of screws, potentiometer, and your VCC and ground. So to add screws, you need to search for option called screw. Just type in screw in the search window. Just ping me if anyone has any doubts. I'll just wait until then. Okay. So I believe everyone could do till here. So now to add screws, just type screws in the search window and click on enter. You have various screws available for you, but you need to choose the one with the two inputs. So for that, just select the option 3, that is W237102. That is the package name. Option third. That is the screw with the two input terminal. So select that and click on OK. You need three of these screws, one for power supply, one for input, and one for output. So make sure you add three of these in your diagram. I'll just repeat again. Type screws, click on enter, and select the option 3 and click on OK, and add that particular screw 3 times in your schematic file. I hope everyone could do till here. If you have any doubts, you can just put a message in the chat window. Because to get a certificate of participation, everyone need to send this file to us. So I request you all to simultaneously work on it with me. Okay, after adding the screw, you need a potentiometer to connect it to the input terminal. So just type potentiometer. After typing potentiometer in the search bar, click enter. You will see various potentiometers, various types of potentiometer available. You need to select the one in the option called pot. Search, you have an option called pot here. Under this, just click on trim EU. Under this, you need to select the one with trim EU P64. Yeah, this one. I'll just repeat again. Just type potentiometer, click enter. You will see something called pot option. Under that, select an option called trim EU. Under trim EU, search for an option called trim EU B64Y. B64Y is the package name. Okay, just click on that and click OK. Place it on your screen and again press escape. I'll just repeat again. Under pot, select the option trim EU. Under that, select a package with P64Y and click on OK. After adding potentiometer, you need your power supply, that is VCC and ground. So just type VCC in the search option and click on enter. You will see two options, supply 1 and supply 2. Just click on the VCC under supply 1 and click on OK. You need one for the power pin and one for your pin number 6, that is VCC pin of your IC. So use them twice in the circuit. After adding VCC, type ground. Under this, select the ground pin under supply 1 and click on OK. You need one ground pin for your power supply, one to connect to your input terminal, that is pin 2, one for the bypass, one for the filter circuit, and one for the output. So total you need 5. Total you need 5 ground pin. I'll just repeat again. From VCC, I'll repeat. To add VCC to your circuit, under the search option, type VCC, click enter. You have two options, supply 1 and supply 2. Select the VCC under supply 1 and click on OK. After this, to add ground, just type ground in the search window, click enter. Here also you need to select the ground option which is available under supply 1 and click on OK. Just ping me after you are done adding all the components. After that, we will just arrange the component and start with our designing. So I'll just request all of you to finish it and just ping me. Okay. Now let us start arranging our components. I'll just start arranging few components. I request each one of you to look at that, and even you can arrange similarly in that way, or however it is comfortable for you people. Before that, I'll just explain a few options available for you. Uh, you can see an option called move here on the left side of your screen. When you place the cursor on that, it will show move. This option is used to move or place your components in a particular direction. So click on that if you want to arrange these components however you are required. So click on a particular component. You can see that that particular component will be highlighted. So after that, you can drag and place it wherever it is required. Okay. And if you want to rotate any particular components, there is an option called rotate on the left side of the window. Click on that, and if you need to rotate any particular component, you can rotate them. I'll rotate a few components and I'll just show you how to rotate them. Click on the option called rotate here on the left side and select the component which you want to rotate. Okay. I request each of you to just go through this arrangement how I'm doing and simultaneously do with me. After arranging all these components, I'll just give some time for you to refer to this and arrange similarly when you're doing it. Okay, after rotating few components, you can start with your connections. I'll just show how to wire your components. Okay, after arranging your components to wire, that is to make electrical connection between them, you have to select an option called net here on the left side with the green color symbol. Make sure you select net and not a wire. Select on net. That is the one with the green color symbol. After you have selected, you can make electrical connection by just placing at the end of the each component and click on those components and drag them. You can see a green color wire coming out of that, and place or end this wire wherever you require the connection should end. So this is the input pin. We are connecting it to the input terminal, that is pin 3 through potentiometer. So I will, from the input terminal, I will just connect it to the potentiometer. The other end of this screw will go to other end of the potentiometer. Make sure you connect the input terminal pin 3 to the potentiometer. Pin 2 will be grounded. Pin 3 has to be connected to the potentiometer. Okay, then we know that pin 2 and pin 4 are grounded. So connect them to ground pin. After that, this particular thing is for power supply. So connect it to VCC and ground. One pin to VCC and other pin to ground. I'll just repeat after I complete. So don't worry if you're stuck anywhere. Then we know that pin 6 is a power pin. It has to be connected to VCC. So just click on pin 6, drag it and connect it to the VCC. Okay. Then pin 1 and 8 are the gain pin. They have to be connected to resistor and capacitors. So pin 1 is connected to resistor. Other end of resistor is connected to capacitor, and the other terminal of capacitor is connected to pin 8. Okay, after this connect the bypass terminal, that is pin 7. We know that we are connecting it to the ground through capacitor to provide it the stability required. So connect the pin terminal to capacitor and the capacitor other end to the ground. Then pin 5 is the output pin, so it has to be connected to the polarized capacitor. Other end of the polarized capacitor is connected to one terminal of the screw, output screw, and other terminal of the output screw is connected to the ground. Now we need to connect the filter circuit. Connect the resistor to the pin 5. that is on the same wire which connects the pin 5 to the polarized capacitor. Then a resistor other end is connected to capacitor, and capacitor other end is grounded. So this is your schematic diagram. I will again just explain how to make connection between them. Select an option on the left side, that is net, that is with a green color symbol. Click on that and select the component from where you want to start your connection. At the end of the component, click on the end of the component. You will see a green color wire coming out of that. Drag that wire and end it on the component where you want the connection should be. Okay. Suppose if you have done any mistake in connecting the components and you want to delete it, there is an option called delete on the left side. Just click on that and select the wire where which you want to delete. Suppose if I want to delete this, click on that, it will be deleted. So again, after deleting, again select the net option, click on the wire and make the electrical connection as required. The input terminal, that is the screw, one end will be on the potentiometer, other end will be to the other pin of the screw, and the middle terminal will be connected to pin 3 of the audio amplifier, and pin 2 along with pin 4 is grounded, that is connected to the ground terminal. Okay, then to supply the power we have connected one more screw here. The one end of the screw is connected to VCC and other end is connected to ground. Then pin 6 should be connected to VCC. Okay. Then pin 1 is connected to resistor R, and other end of resistor is connected to capacitor, and other end of capacitor is connected to pin 8. Okay. Then pin 5, that is the output terminal, is connected to polarized capacitor. Okay. Then other end of capacitor is connected to output screw, and one more screw of the output is connected to the ground. And connect your filter circuit at the output. Resistor is connected to the pin 5, that is on the wire itself, and other end of resistor is connected to capacitor, and capacitor is grounded. And pin 7 is connected to capacitor, and other end is grounded here. Just make sure that you have connected a polarized capacitor at the output terminal only. I'll just wait for some time so that you can refer to this circuit and simultaneously try to do it. So once you're done, just ping me. Just try refer this circuit and do it in a similar way. After you are done, just ping me once in the chat window. Okay, I'll just repeat once again. Ping me once you're done. Is there any doubt? Just put it in the chat window. Okay, once you're done with this, we need to provide names and particular value for your resistors and capacitors. So to give name for each components, um, click on the option here called name on the left side. Once you place on that, you will see it shows name. Click on that, and after selecting that option, click on the component which you want to name. Now we will name this input screw as an input terminal. So click on that. A small window will pop up saying type new name. So just type your new name. I'll just put input. After typing input, select OK. You can see that it will automatically get changed to input 1 and input 2. Okay. After this, repeat the same for other two screws as well. The one which we have used here, this one, is the power pin. So we'll name it as power and click on OK. And the one here which is used at the output terminal is renamed as output. So I'll just repeat again. Select on the option called name that looks something like this, like R2 by 10K. When you place the cursor on that, it shows name. Click on that and select the component which you want to rename. A small window will appear. Type the new name and click OK. Do the same thing for other two screws also. The top screw which is placed here, this one is power pin. This is the input pin which is connected to the potentiometer. And the one which is connected at the output is the output pin. Okay. After renaming them, we'll add values for resistors and capacitors. So to provide value, just beside the name option, there is an option called value. Just beside the name option. When you place the cursor on that, it shows value. Click on that. After selecting that, click on the component which you want to rename. So first we'll start with the resistor here connected at the pin terminal 1. Select that resistor. A small window will appear, new value for R1. Type 1.2 1.2K. Okay, then click on OK. Just type in 1.2K. Then click OK. Then the capacitor just beside it, click on that. The value of this capacitor is 10 microfarad. So just type 10U. And click on OK. Then the capacitor connected to the pin 7. This capacitor connected to the pin 7, that is bypass pin. Its value is 10 nanofarad. So just type 10N. Click on OK. The bypass capacitor value is 10 nanofarad. Okay, at the output terminal, the one with the polarity, that value is 250 microfarad. So just type 250 microfarad, click on OK. 250 is for the one which is with the polarity. Okay, the capacitor in the filter circuit, for that you need to enter 0.05 microfarad. 0.05 microfarad. Then the resistor in the capacitor is 10 ohms. So just type 10. Click on OK. I'll just repeat the values. The one with which is connected to pin 1, the resistor which is connected to pin 1 is 1.2K. Okay. Then the capacitor connected at pin 8 is 10 microfarad. Then the capacitor connected at pin 7, that is your bypass terminal, that is 10 nanofarad. Then the resistor in the filter circuit connected at the output terminal is 10 ohms. Then the capacitor in the filter circuit is 0.05 microfarad. Then the capacitor with the polarity is 250 microfarad. Okay, now everything is ready. You have connected all the components and provided with all the names and values. Just save the file. Before you proceed, just save the file. After you make your connections, you need to check if there are any disconnection in the circuit, or if there is any component which is not connected properly. So to do that, to find such error, you need to do electrical rule check, that is ERC. To do that, you can see an option here at the down part of the left side, options which are available. Click on the arrow, downward arrow. I'll just repeat again. To find electrical rule check, click on the arrow which is available on the left side bottom part, which indicates a downward arrow. You can see here on the left bottom part corner. Click on that. You can see an option called ERC. Before clicking this ERC, make sure everyone has given all the names and values for your resistors and capacitors. I hope everyone has finished providing the names and the values to all the components. Just ping me if you have any doubts naming the components and providing the value. After that, we'll just continue. Okay, yeah. The value of the potentiometer, that is R3 here, should be 10K. So just click on value, select on the potentiometer, type 10K, then click on OK. I just missed to give a name for the potentiometer. You have to provide 10K for the potentiometer. After that, save the file. After this, we have to check for the errors if there are any. So make sure you have provided values and names for all the components. If you have any doubts, just drop a message. Otherwise, I'll just continue with it. Okay, after this, as I told, on the bottom left corner, click on the downward arrow. You can see an option here called ERC, Electrical Rule Check. Click on that. You will see some errors or warnings if there are any. There are no errors in the circuit, so errors is 0. But there are few warnings you can see here. The first one, if you click on the first one, it says power pin IC1 VS connected to VCC. It is giving a warning that pin 6 is connected to a VCC pin. No need to worry about such warning because you have checked it in the data sheet that the pin 6 has to be connected to the VCC. So such warnings can be ignored. So you need not worry about such warnings. So click on that warning, and here there is an option called approve. Click on that. That warning will be erased. Now you can see there is one more warning. Part input has no value. it says that screw terminal has no value. You know that we are not providing any value for the screws, so it is okay if you don't provide any value for that. Make sure only your resistors and capacitors are provided with the value. No need to give any values as such for your input screws, so that also can be approved. Okay, so click on that error and click the option called approve. It says the same thing for all the screws used. It is showing the output has no value. Okay, now click on approve. Same thing for power screw as well. Part power has no value. You can just approve it. Okay, now all the warnings are approved and there are no errors, so you can good to go. So I'll just repeat again. Click on the downward arrow on the left bottom side, and there is an option called ERC. Click on that. Now when I clicked on that, it is the window, that is error window, is not showing because there are no errors, and those four warnings which were there, I have approved them. So it won't show that error window again if there is no error. It will show only if there is any warning or any error. Now it is not showing anything. It means that uh, you have no error and you can proceed with the board designing. So make sure you have designed the circuit error free. There are no any errors apart from those four warnings. Once you are done till here, uh, this part completes the schematic designing. Now your schematic design has to be converted into a board file. Okay, so before I just start designing the board file, I want to make sure that all of you could do till here. Just ping me once you are done, or if you have any doubts. I will wait till then. Okay. Now I'll proceed with the board designing. To convert this schematic into your board, you need to select an option here. You can see on the top there is an option called generate or switch to board. When you keep a cursor on that, it shows like this: generate slash switch to board. Select that option. It will ask you whether you want to create a board file. Just click OK. S. Just click on S. A separate window will appear which look something like this. Okay. Before you proceed, just save this file. Now you can see here these are your components which you have used in your schematic diagram. Okay, the black color board here is the board file, that is the base of your PCB. Now you need to place all these components which are there on the left side onto your board and arrange them. Okay, to move these components onto your board, you need to select an option called move here on the left side. Same thing which you did in your schematic file, same options are also available here. Just click on option move and select the component which you want to move. Suppose I want to move this audio amplifier. I will click on the audio amplifier. You can see that it is being highlighted compared to other components. So once you select the component, you can drag it and place it onto your board. Okay, now you need to arrange it so that it is more like compact, and wires don't overlap, overlap much. Okay, it's not possible to completely avoid the overlapping, but you can just arrange in such a way that it looks little neat and wiring can be easily identified. Okay, then if you want to rotate this component, you can select the option called rotate just below the move option. After selecting that option, click on the component which you want to rotate. It will be rotated. Okay. Once you are done putting this audio amplifier on the board, let us put all the other components as well. Now again select move option and then place your components onto the board. Just start doing simultaneously with me. You can just place all your components onto the board and try to arrange them neatly. everyone are done arranging the components? It need not be like what I'm doing now. You can arrange it however you want it. Just ping me once you are done arranging the components. We will proceed with the further steps. If you guys are done, just ping me once so that we can proceed. Okay. Now let us start. with the further steps after you have arranged, we can reduce the size of the board as required. So to reduce the size and make it little more compact, just you need to drag the outer line of the board. You can see the yellow color line on the edge of the board. That is the outer line. You can just pull it down and make it little more like compact. Just drag the outer edges inside. So you can based on your components used or depending upon the complexity, you can arrange the size of the board. So after you have arranged the size, make sure here on the top there is an option called layer. It is maybe it is selected as a top layer with a red color symbol. You can just select the bottom layer with a blue color symbol. We'll be designing only a single layer and it will be a bottom. So bottom layer. So make sure you select the bottom layer here. Okay. After this, we have to root the components. Now to root the components, you can see an option called here auto root on the left side. When you place the cursor, it says auto root. Just click on that. Routing means selecting a path for flow of the current among the components. So you will be selecting a particular path, that is particular copper path, for the current to flow. To do that, we will use an option called route. So once you click on that, a small separate window will appear like this. You need to make some modifications here. Now we are only designing for bottom layer. So the top layer here, choose NA, and bottom layer keep it as it is. Okay, top layer should be NA, bottom layer is auto. Then here on the right side, make the effort high. It is low, you can change it to high. Okay, after that click on OK, click on continue. A separate window will appear. Here click on start. It will evaluate and make the routing, that is routing on the bottom layer. That's why you can see on the right side the routing are with a blue color, because we have selected a bottom layer, not the top layer. If you have selected the top layer, it will be red in color. Okay, so after this you can see here all the options are with 100%. So once they are done, it shows 100%. That is, it is completed, optimized to 100%. After this, click on end job. I'll repeat this step once again. Click on auto route option on the left side. A separate window will appear like this. On the left side, you can see top layer. You have to select NA. It will be auto. You have to select NA. Okay. Bottom layer, don't change anything. You should keep it as it is. That is auto. On the right side, effort should be high. It will be low. Change it to high. Okay. After that, click on continue. Okay. After clicking on continue, uh, click on the option start. Once it's done with the routing and all, it will ask you to end the job. You can see here all the routing are completed with 100%. Okay, so after that you can just click on end job, and all your components are now routed. Okay. After this, you need to add a polygon. Polygons are used to create copper areas uh, on the PCB board which are not used for current flow. That is, they are connected to ground. So you need to connect the extra copper layer on the board to the ground. That is, the current won't flow in those copper areas. Uh, so to do that, we use an option called polygon. Here you can see an option on the left side. It obviously resembles a polygon symbol. Click on that. After selecting that, you need to drag and make the outer edge of the polygon. That is, to do that, here on the one any particular edge of your board, tap on the edge. You can see the blue color line will appear. Okay, that is your polygon. Drag it and again tap on the other edge. After you tap, again drag it, tap on the one more edge. Then again drag, tap it on the other edge, and then end it from where you started. After you end it, a small window will appear. It will ask you to enter the name of this polygon, okay, signal name. Now you are grounding this copper layer, so you need to type ground, that is G and D. Just type G and D and click on OK. You can see a small dotted line on the outside of the, that is on the boundary of the board file. That is your polygon. After this is done, there is an option called nest. Rat's nest. Click on that. You can see a blue color what copper layer which is grounded appears. Okay, and this layer does not contain any current flow. Okay, here rat's nest, they are used to achieve shortest possible paths. Okay, that's why I use a rat nest. I'll just repeat these two steps again. After routing, you need to select a polygon. Select the polygon. Just draw a boundary on all the four sides of your board. Click here on the one side of the corner, drag it and tap on the other corner. Again, drag it and tap on the third corner. Then again, drag, tap on the fourth corner, and drag and finish from where you started it. As soon as you tap from where you started it, a small window will appear. You need to provide a signal name there. Type ground, that is G and D, and click on OK. After doing that, the next step will be to provide the shortest possible path. To provide that, we use an option called rat's nest. Rat's nest. It is just below the polygon. Just click on that. This blue layer will appear. After doing this much, just save the board file. I hope everyone could do till here. If you have any doubt, just drop a text in the chat window.